Hey guys, so I'm here in the cubby hole. I just got done talking to the old homeowners who did a walkthrough of the house, and they told me that all of these little cubbies here at one point in time were areas where they would stash their valuables. They would take this sand that's here and they would bury pieces of coins of silver or gold down in there, predominantly silver. And they said that we should check in here because it's possible that they still have some silver pieces that are buried back in here that they might have missed. So we're up in here digging for treasure right now. I will tell you at another time about a potential map to a buried fortune from a Latvian brewmeister that's over in Latvia where they buried all their treasure during the war, and it might be hidden in these walls somewhere. So I'll tell you about that later, but for now, we're digging for silver. Whew. Well, we dug through all 4 of those cubbies right there, and we didn't find any buried treasure. Not for lack of trying. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't locate some stuff down in the last of these 2 holes right here. I'll give you an idea of what it looks like in there. Hole number 1, hole number 2, and hole number 3. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get my hand out on that one, so we'll have to see. Alright, so we struck out on the holes over there in the cubby, but we were told that there also might be some movable bricks inside, oh jeez, up in here. We were told at one point in time you could move some bricks and there was some hidden stuff in here. So, we're gonna see what we can do. Where would they move? Well, can't leave any stone unturned here, so might as well check and see. See what we got up there. Oh man, my contractor's gonna kill me for making a mess of this place, but heck, you got buried treasure as an option. Sometimes you gotta make a mess. Alright, try out this cubby. We got another one here. Let's see here. See anything up in there? Alright guys, I am taking a break from my treasure hunt here. You can see I've got almost all the doors opened up here. To tell you a couple new things that I found out about the bomb shelter house. Pretty cool stuff actually. So this window here, although it looks like a regular glass block window, is actually 2 separate glass blocks. Sandwiched in between the rows of glass blocks is actually a strip of metal. So right here, it's kind of, you can't see it barely, but it would have been a metal protrusion from the wall here that would have been mirrored on the other side of the window there with another one. And what that would have allowed them to do is to actually move the sheath of metal in case someone was trying to break into the house. They could move a sheet of metal between the 2 sandwich layers of glass block that would allow themselves to still have natural light down in the bomb shelter, but also be able to secure it in case the back row of glass was penetrated, which is stinking brilliant and nerdy, and I love it all. We've already kind of told you about the sauna room here.
You can see the rocks that we have in there. It would have been heated from below. Damper system, which would have allowed to have the heat for the sauna. Up here, we confirm this is an escape hatch, but it's also used to funnel wood down to the bomb shelter. But let me show you a couple cool things that we found out here. So, apparently, we couldn't figure out what this whole mechanism here was. It looked like it was going to Katie bar the door somehow by putting a 2x4 in there, but what it actually did was you would put the 2x4 in there like we thought, but the only difference is once the 2x4 was in there and this door was shut, they would have a cranking mechanism which you would have been able to turn like this, and it would have sucked the door in, which would have put a full seal on the bomb shelter, thus perfectly securing it. In addition, we figured out what this little latching mechanism here is. When you pull that out, as you can see, it moves this lever here. So this lever would actually latch onto this lever here, sealing off the door. But in case they had a friend or a family member who came down to the shelter and was wanting to get in and couldn't because it was locked, this system right here would have pulled over here, latched up into there, and then from the other side here, you can see my hand there, the family member would have been able to reach in here, pull on that lever, and unlock the door and gain access to it. Unbelievable. As you know here, this is where I've been digging for the treasure. We haven't been able to find anything yet. We've explored all 3 holes. I can't get my hand down in that last one there, but I've climbed up in and dug through all of those. Let's go down here a little bit. I also couldn't figure out what this sucker was, this hole, but this periscope hole up here, he was afraid that if somebody wanted to do harm and pour gasoline or some other type of material down the periscope hole, that could create a problem for the inhabitants of the bomb shelter. So the periscope would have actually pulled down here and been retractable into the hole. So that would, and then they had this damper switch here, which would have been able to be turned, and it has a concrete, small heart-shaped concrete lever that would have been able to, once you turn this, it would have capped off and sealed off the top of the periscope up top, so nobody could have poured anything down into your hole. I also checked down in those cubbies, which would have also been storing valuables. These canisters here were actually from the local dairy where the gentleman who built this worked. They were medical grade barrels, or they're fully sterile, and he was able to get some scratch and dent versions and put them in there. Wasn't any tunnels there after all, but these 2 barrels were obtained for that purpose. Did confirm that there was a door down here. They would have been about enough for a year or 2 supply of rations. So we finally figured out what these 2 holes were for. You have an in and an out hole for air ventilation. And the brackets that were on there is where they would stick their crank for their air, that it would allow them to suck air in and push it back out, so it would allow them a bracket to be able to put that on there. And each one of these protrusions there, the damper up there, and the damper back there are all the same louvered concrete system that we talked about on the periscope. So when we saw that big concrete drum, when we cut open the back exit, and we thought it had been drummed off, it really had not been drummed off. What had happened is if you had a big old vice grips or pipe wrench, you could actually put it on that tube that's coming out there and turn it, and it would turn that concrete drum, and it would rotate the sucker away so you could actually get out, but nobody could get in from the outside. And the same is true with this up here. This mechanism, when turned, actually rotates a concrete drum up top. We did this here, ties into an exterior drainage tile system that goes under the exterior patios. One of the drainage systems built into the flagstone out in the patio. I'll go into that same storm sewer that goes out into the back alleyway. They said that they did have a sump pump that would have been in here in the well, which would have been able to discharge into the sanitary sewer there. This was confirmed to be a guard hole. While we're here, I'll double check, see if there's any. Guess this would be a bad place to put valuables, but who knows? Anyways, in case friends or family, not friends or family, but people did get in here, they would still be able to protect themselves. So that's it. Some more of the secrets about the bomb shelter, and now I'm going back to hunt for more treasure. Talk to you later.